Hey everybody. So just to continue on, I know my phone keeps cutting out. I'm getting back to that phone shortage problem, even though I've continued to delete videos and I'm continuing to delete even more videos farther back in my past to hopefully free up some space. But anyway, to continue on the video I made concerning joy and where I'm at, who I am, and where things may go. I don't know. But again, well, it's not again. It's again for me because this is all stuff that I know of and I'm sharing with you guys. So it's new to you, but it's old to me. But so moving on, as I've said, I feel I've always I've been very much so drawn to like sacrifice and um, even as a child, like growing up playing war in the backyard with my friends and stuff, there was always a desire inside of myself to always run into action first. Like not so much first. I always had a very strong. I always seemed to have the strongest desire to run into battle first, and I would always usually get killed first. Is what it is. Like you're playing laser tag with friends. Like I saw. I mean, I knew it was stupid, kind of, because it's like I could just sit here behind a bush and like play it safe and cover my target, and make sure I don't get hit, or I could just try to run down the field and go this way, go that way, and try to fucking get them. And that's just always been my energies. I just always like to try to go out into harm's way. That's just me. I gotta just be honest with that. It's something I've always related to, even at the youngest of ages. So playing back, war in the backyard as friends, I always had this like duty feeling, like I had to go out there and be the one to like stand up in front of a whole battalion of people and just get killed and everybody else get saved. Like that's just how I felt, man. Like that's just what came out of me when I would start playing around and shit. So that's who I am. There's a reason why I've had these sensations as a child, and then as I've gone through my life, it kind of makes sense too. Like that's an intense thing to have that calling to, like, it's kind of a death calling, but it's a death in a good way. It's going out in a good way. So it makes sense why I've been drawn to things like drugs that are very intense and they take you away and they're captivating and they fill you with all types of stimuli and this and that. Because when you put your life on the line like that for others, it's very stimulating. Oh man, you get hit with some glory like you ain't ever felt before, man. There's a lot of beauty and very, very lovely, like, like Valhalla type, like glory, God feeling type energy that comes when you put yourself on the line for others. And I'm like an addict for that type of shit. And I think this is why drugs are so alluring to people like myself, because I'm not the only one. There's a lot of other men that are like this, is because it gives you a similar type of feeling, except you don't got to do any work for it. And because it's so similar to the type of feeling that you do get when you do those things on the battlefield, you can get confused and thinking like, okay, well, it's like, I don't really need to go and fight that fight because I got this feeling. And I think that the enemy, the opposition, also knows this too, which is why one of their tools to keep humanity down and to keep people like myself from finding out who they really are was by making Oxycontin and things of these like drugs. But Oxycontin was one of the key tools they used, came at a very pivotal time to get a lot of people hooked on heroin, essentially, because Oxycontin is synthetic heroin. It comes straight from the opiate plant. A lot of people say that that's the reason why we entered Afghanistan, was to get control of their poppy fields, and then after that, you had an Oxycontin fucking boom in America. And a lot of people say that's what Pat Tillman was killed for, was he was trying to tell the American public, like, hey, shit's fucked up over here. The reason why we went to war is not what we're being told. And then if you look into how he died, they say it was friendly fire, but it looks like he was assassinated by his own people, or I don't really know if you can consider them as people if they're killing him, but people wearing the same uniform essentially took him out. Or maybe they weren't even wearing the same uniform. Maybe they were supposed to be on the same side. I don't know. But if you look at what happened, there was an Oxycontin epidemic. A lot of people lost their lives. A lot of people became hooked. A lot of people went to heroin. It ruined a lot of lives. And a lot of doctors overprescribed the fuck out of them. And they got a lot of money for it too. So there's a whole fucking huge corruption scheme that goes into all that. And I fell right into it, man. Them Oxycontins, man, I still, to this day, I don't think any other drug hit me as hard. And I never had as good a high as I had when I really got a good oxy high. That shit was fucking just like pure orgasm, just washing over you every single second. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you're just hit with this undulating golden feeling of warmth and beauty and love all the time. And it's just like, what the fuck is this? And I was hooked. But again, it goes back to me being drawn to that feeling, which you do get from good servitude, from honorable servitude, from God's glory. I mean, it's essentially like God's glory. It's a very similar feeling to the glory, to the orgasm, to the love, that you can find it in a pill. So my point is, now that I'm getting more sober and I'm finishing up this project, you know, I've always felt like I sacrifice, and I've had feelings of allowing myself to be eaten by something that is essentially completely evil, or my opponent, while I'm in the state of complete love. And you know, it goes back to the old expression, you are what you eat. So if I allow myself to be consumed in that way, in that loving manner, knowing that he's going to consume me, and me having no fear, having nothing but love, not wanting this experience to have, wanting him to eat me, wanting him to consume me, wanting him to consume my energy, my love, knowing that I'm going to go into him in the most intimate way that you can go into something, to literally be consumed by it, and to know that my energy will there bring forth a beauty that he's never known, but he's now going to get to know because he chose to devour something that's beautiful. So that's a possibility in my future, but I didn't feel right about doing it until I'd gotten the project done, because I need to leave the blueprint for humanity on how to build this infrastructure on a physical level, because that has still not yet been shared with humanity, and I still don't see anybody who's really putting the amount of attention that needs to be put in order to really accomplish that. So I decided to do it myself, and since I'm close to doing it, the next step may be for me to get myself ready to be consumed in that manner. So with those type of things being said, thinking about, you know, being with anybody brings some serious questions. Like, you know, I mean, is it even right for me to try to be with somebody knowing that could be my future? Like, is that right for me to engage with somebody and possibly fall in love with somebody knowing that I know I may not be around very much longer? Like, do I want to do that to somebody else? Does somebody else want to even be involved with me if they know that's going to happen? And also the type of commitment that it will require for me to do that the right way is going to require a lot of energy, which means I'm not going to have a lot of time to spend on anybody, just because I just won't have the time. It's going to take a lot for me to get to that point and to finish the project and do all these things in the time that they need to be done in order for this thing to be successful. So that's where I'm at. You know, I mean, honestly, I would love to have a female companion that's supportive of my mission and what I want to do, but also for them to know where I'm going, and that it could very well lead to my untimely death. I mean, when I say untimely, I shouldn't say that. Recent, it could be very in the near future death or transfer of energy. So that's an important thing for everybody to know, and especially for anybody who potentially wants to be with my life in that type of capacity. So I hope Joy's doing all right, and you know, she's helped me out at a time when I was hurting, and I always remember and appreciate it for that. And you know, everybody else too. So all right, I love you guys. Y'all take care. Bye.